What is going on, Chelsea fans? Thank you for heading over to our YouTube channel. Hey, this is a clip from the entire podcast we did. It's only a segment. The full pod is like an hour long, so it doesn't make sense to be on YouTube, but it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, link in the description. Go check it out. Again, link in the description, but we hope you enjoy this clip. Until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.
One that's a little, seems like kind of a done deal at this point from an outgoing perspective, Matt, is Rüdiger, which has transitioned incredibly quickly over the last couple of weeks since we last talked to you. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks and everything seemed normal at that point. But let's talk about Rüdiger. Let's think about one, kind of what happened in the fallout, and then two, what's likely to happen with him moving forward. Is it Italy? Is it Germany? Is it somewhere else in the Premier League?
Look, there's not been like any sort of huge row with Rüdiger. There's not been some massive incident that I know of anyway. You know, maybe we'll find out in time that there has, but I don't hear of a big incident. Basically, he's a German international. He's a strong personality. It's a similar-ish situation to David Luiz in that Rüdiger will not accept not being in the conversation to start every single game. He will accept not starting every single game, but he won't accept being sort of fourth choice and not even really having a chance. So he's not just going to make up the numbers and sit on the bench every week. And it's not going to be healthy for him or the club for him to be around doing that. Not because I think he's going to cause masses of trouble, but because it's not going to be a positive situation. He's not going to be fighting to get in because he's going to be angry that he's not there and he feels he should be. And a bit like the David Luiz situation, if he's not in the first 2 or 3 choices for centre-back, then it makes sense for him really for him and the club to try and move on. He's on big wages. As I say, he's a big personality. So it's sensible really for the club to move him on. And he is either 4th or 5th choice centre-back now. That is just the case. He wasn't great at the end of last season. I think Frank made a decision on him at the end of last season, in the sort of final third of the season that was disrupted by COVID, that Rüdiger wasn't a player he wanted to go forwards with, that he wanted to either bring in replacements or he was going to put his faith in other people in the squad. And from that point on, it became whether the situation could be managed with Rüdiger in the squad. And it's just not really possible, just like David Luiz. So I think Rüdiger's accepted the best thing would be for him to go, whether it be on loan or a permanent deal. Chelsea have accepted that. The sticking point here is that Rüdiger has less than 2 years on his contract. Now, Chelsea have a club rule that to loan anybody out, you have to have 2 years or more on your contract. So as we saw, Batshuayi signed a contract extension to go out on loan. To fulfil the club rule, Rüdiger would have to sign a contract extension, which obviously is a little bit weird when you know your future's probably not at the club. So that's a little obstacle. Whether they can bend the rules for him or whether he's prepared to sign the extension knowing that it doesn't really mean too much other than protecting his value. PSG have definitely shown a lot of interest. I hear that they would prefer to loan him to start with. So the whole issue on whether he can be loaned's got to be sorted out for that one. Tottenham are definitely interested. They're more in the market for Milan Skriniar at the moment, but Rüdiger is their second choice. And I think Tottenham would be prepared to try and buy him, probably around 20 million. And then it becomes whether Chelsea will do business with Tottenham.
I mean,
the evolving question,
obviously, selling
look, not unfortunately, none of us particularly know Marina Granovskaya, but just from working around Chelsea a lot and talking to people who do know Marina Granovskaya, she takes the emotion out of these things. So I think if the deal is best for Chelsea that he goes to Tottenham, I think she'll do it. I don't think she will care that they're big rivals. I think that's what they were willing to do on Giroud in January. They did it with Juan Mata and Man United. I know the rivalry is different. If the deal with PSG is not right, but the deal with Tottenham is right, it won't stop it just because they're Tottenham. I don't think
So, but isn't that a factor though of like strengthening a rival? Doesn't that like play into the equation of what's best for Chelsea in the league? Or did she say, "Hey, I'm just here to make the money. It's your job to take care of business on the pitch"?
Look, if what's happened previously is Jose Mourinho said to her, "I don't mind Juan Mata going to Man United," so she did the deal. If Frank Lampard is happy for Antonio Rüdiger to play for Tottenham, she'll do the deal.
Fair.
You know, if it's the best deal. I sense that Frank Lampard would probably have a right of veto to say, I don't want him playing for Tottenham. But then she will turn around to him and say, well, in that case, I might not be able to get him out of the club. And therefore, you guys need to sort something out here because you're going to have to work with each other. So, you know, there's give and take on both sides there.
Yeah. All right. That's super fair. Just a quick one on Tomori. Does it sound like he's going to stay, or do you think he's very much open? Did you say earlier he's more interested in leaving on a loan to secure game time rather than Chelsea?
Okay. I don't think I'm betraying any confidence here to say that Fikayo Tomori wants to go out on loan, not because of anything bad towards Chelsea, but because he wants
game
to go
time.
Yeah, purely game time, pure for you to come back a stronger position as a Premier League footballer to come and compete at Chelsea. You know, he played a lot in the first half of last season and didn't in the second half. I think it's clear already that his minutes will be limited if he's actually. I think Frank would love to keep him around because he is a great lad. He is a great character. He is just the perfect player for a manager to have around. And you know what you're going to get from him. You know you're never going to get a problem from him. But he wants to play. So I think he's very keen. Everton have been there for a very long time, but Everton can't just hang around forever for him. So Everton are going to have to make a decision whether they go for someone else. Big decision for him, big week for him. And I feel a bit sorry for him if he doesn't get his loan because he wants it for the right reasons. But, you know, that's football. Chelsea hold his contract.
He's currently a part of the best center back pairing at the club, according to the London is Blue podcast. So we're interested in this one because it seems so odd that a young, promising talent, you know, given our other options in Thiago Silva and Andreas Christensen and Kurt Zouma, would be allowed to leave when, you know, there are other players who are maybe not as high on the list. So just an interesting.
If you ask me to pick my first choice central pairing at the moment, I'd have Tomori in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tomori. He's got the bit of pace that the others don't quite have. He can be, like all of them, liable to a bit of mistake. I trust him a little. I like him, and I think his partnership. His partnerships have looked a little bit better with Zouma than other partnerships have. And I would like to see him I'd like to see him have a go with Silva as well. But hey, I don't see him every day in training.